Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dota 2 semifinals here at the IESF 2019 Dota tournament. It is, pretty impressive to see what it looks like when amazing players do amazing things. And I think the Swedish roster really kind of came together there at the end and it was pretty dominant from 10-minute marks onward, but it did take them kind of 30 minutes to end because Philippines, man, those guys just don't die.
Yeah, it was a really good snowball from the Sweden side, but that last minute hold from the Team Philippines gave us really great slugfest, team fight after team fight. Like sometimes we don't know how, but Team Philippines actually come out ahead, defending their high ground for a bit. But
it
still,
was
in the end,
pretty remarkable to see just how strong Sweden was when they finally did get their act together. I mean, there were a couple of unspeakable high ground occurrences that we're not going to talk about here, but in the end, they did win with an insurmountable gold advantage. It definitely felt like they were kind of throwing money at their problems there at the end. But hey, Chessie completely godlike, unstoppable on that TA, and I think even though S4 went on a couple of solo adventures of his own, in the end, the double doom, especially with EGM kind of helping him out there, that was pretty scary to deal with.
Yeah, I think one of the most critical part of the game was that the first 4 or 5 Grimstroke Doom ultimate combination never failed.
Yeah.
They always got it right. EGM and S4 bringing out that old time synergy again. Pepper's Farm remembers. All that synergy coming back in. Grimstroke ultimate right on top of that double Doom without fail.
Yeah, very well executed there. And as we get into our second game of the series, you really have to wonder, what was the secret sauce that Philippines used to take out Sweden the first time around? Because they did it. They did what no other team has been able to do, and they beat Sweden in the Swiss round. So time to, figure out that recipe again. It's like alchemy. It's like, well, I'm sure I turned the lead into gold that one time. Now, what did I do to do that? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. And we're waiting for Team Philippines to show us that very recipe on the next game.
They're saving it for TI this year when they finally meet Sweden in the fight. I don't know. That's not how it works. But
we always save strats. We don't lose. Yeah. We just save strats.
Okay, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're saving it for future. I'm saving my Dota casting strats right now for the future too. By the way.
Yeah, I'm saving my. I'm saving everything that I have for the intergalactic that's gonna come.
I was going to say, you petty humans playing esports against each other. What are you going to do when you've shown all your strategies to win worthless human fiat money? Then the aliens come and they try to take your planet, but they challenge you to Dota in the finals. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are your strats then?
We reassemble Navi.
That's right. I'm sure they've still got some strats up. They're going to fountain hook their way to intergalactic victory, dude. It's going to be so good to watch. So right now we're just waiting on our Sweden and Philippine teams to get into their next lobby so that we can have our second game. Feels weird to say second game because this is our first best of 3 of the tournament so far. But
yeah,
hey, at least there's that opportunity for a comeback.
Yeah, it's going to be how the Team Philippines comes back from the loss. I mean, it was a revenge match and they lost the first match. So it might be a bit shaking for them. But time to, turn things around, get some new strats, adjust to the enemy.
Looks like we're about ready to get into that draft phase for game number 2. So let's go ahead and check out the pick and ban as we head on in. It's Sweden down bottom, Philippines up top, and it's time for the comeback. What's it going to take?
Dire team back.
I mean, the bans might be a bit more standard. I felt that Sweden was handing out a bit more surgical bans against Team Philippines. But Razor banned out, Veno banned out. Maybe IO. I don't think they let IO through.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Execration, the Team Philippines, might use Puck again because first picking Puck really did much to the game. Puck almost salvaged the game. But picking a Vengeful Spirit and not a good partner with it, like Draw Ranger, and letting the carries be banned out during the next phase really hurt their ability because Luna, while she's one of the better late game carries, her early game is a bit, she's not a fighter. She wants to farm. And that really hurt them in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, and it felt like they weren't able to kind of stop the bleeding early enough so that by the time Luna really came online, it was a little bit too late. Like, Grimstroke, Luna, almost greater than real Luna. I'm like, okay, well, that's how you know it's a rough spot to be in. Well, hey, Doom ban, so not going to see any more of those double Dooms out there. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Grimstroke taken out of the works a little bit later on.
And Sweden really keeping an eye on that Timbersaw. Timbersaw kept getting banned out on the first ban phase. I mean, Treant Protector is understandable, but what just happened with that Timbersaw? We can only imagine. I
mean, you watched the Timbersaw game that Philippines played against Thailand earlier in the last round of Swiss, and I was like, okay, well, you know, it looked pretty good, but I mean, I don't know if that's scary enough to ban every time, especially first phase.
I mean, the Timbersaw in the last, the 5th round of Swiss format was largely shut down, is what I felt. It did its job in the team fight. Maybe that's why they banned it out. Like, regardless of how shut down it was, it really did its job during the team fight. So I guess that's why they're banning it out. IO ban from the Team Philippines side, and Chen picked up.
Pretty good pick to start out with. I mean, it's always just going to be super solid. Gives you at least the opportunity to have it, at the very least, a strong jungle, but also the ability to support everywhere else. Brewmaster, okay.
So Vengeful Spirit is largely ignored, but at the same time, we get to see S4 Brewmaster.
We're really bringing it back these days. Oh my god. All right. Well, also Crystal Maiden. CM haven't seen that at all.
Yeah, she was nerfed. She was buffed with Outlanders, but nerfed again. And she's in a weird spot right now. She's a really good offensive support. But, you know, despite the recent buffs, she's still a bit... She's back to her fragile self. Like, her buff to the aura, where she gets magic resistance, has been moved to the level 15 talent, but you do want that GPM talent in the end.
I mean, yeah, especially as a support, you're going to be looking for as much of that as possible. So the other side, Lina, so ice and fire, but certainly Lina been a really hallmark pick for Philippines. They've gotten a lot of value out of that, but I felt like in that last game, it really was a little bit too little too late. She kind of got run over by the time she came online.
I mean, it's not like she could have dominated the lane against Templar Assassin, but at the same time, like during the mid game when Luna was absent, Lina really struggled to kind of lead the team fight, but she was too fragile, a bit too slow, and always got caught out or, taken out first in the team fight.
Yeah, so she never transitioned past that. Just I'm a burst mage part of the game when she wasn't really supposed to be bursting anybody.
I think this Lina might just be another support Lina. Okay. They're still opening that possibility up for the mid Lina and kind of try to confuse the Swedish captain, but Chen, Lina, it was most effective when Lina was a support. So Viper ban, Alchemist ban. A bit odd, but Southeast Asian teams sometimes pull out a surprise pick, be it Meepo, Tinker, or even Alchemist.
Yeah, also another pick we've seen heavily focused in bans the last 3 games is Huskar ban. So definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, haven't seen it yet, but
it's out there.
Be interesting.
It's that pocket pick.
So banning all the pocket picks, and here comes a Bat Rider ban.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. I think we've only seen one Bat Rider ban all tournament, at least on the mainstream.
I mean, Teshi could still play it, even if S4 is on the offlane Brewmaster, since the buffs on the Bat Rider, but it's an odd ban, because usually when you ban out the Bat Rider, unless it's like the top tier meta at the moment, it's usually against the special counters. So what could they want that would not like Bat Riders? I mean, first thing that comes to mind is like Templar Assassin, and here comes a Huskar ban.
Okay, so yeah, that's gonna take.
And this might be a good time for Sweden to just pick up Templar Assassin.
I mean, Chessie was just killing it, and I mean, maybe you don't want to fall into the trap of going with what works while your opponent adjusts to it and counters it. But I mean, even if you pick a lane counter against TA, it's like, well. And you can still farm it up. Like, you're probably going to get to a good place.
I mean, I say all the effective counters are already banned out. Viper, Huskar, like even Alchemist and Bat Rider. So a good TA game if they choose to do so, but given that Brewmaster and Crystal Maiden pick up, they might try to go for a bit more early game oriented fight. Like if you consider the Alchemist ban as more of a not putting a timer on their strategy, it might make sense for them to go early, which is supported by this gyrocopter pick. So they can fight early, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, at least that's going to come online a little bit earlier than if they had gone for something like that TA. So if that's their thought, then okay, I guess I get it. But I felt like winning early was something that they could have done in game one and weren't able to.
So yeah, so both sides really do want some late game insurance in a bit.
5 seconds remaining.
But so far, Sweden is really more of a team fight, mid-game powerhouse up to these 3 heroes.
Okay.
And in a way, against the gyrocopter, they do want the answer in the form of, you know, mid-game push stopper. But now they pick up Temple Assassin first. Like I said, like with most of our counters gone, Temple Assassin on the 3rd pick is actually viable right now. While Sweden did not choose to do so, Team Philippines picks it up.
10 seconds.
And Chen and Lina, along with Temple Assassin, would be their mid and supports.
5 seconds remaining.
So maybe a bit more tankier or maybe more self-sustaining carry on the safe lane.
I guess I can see that coming in, and especially if Sweden want to, use the early game strength of the roster that they've picked so far, and then ensure that they'll have late game with something, like you said, with a little bit more carry potential. I mean, I guess Gyrocopter's got that unlocked if he wants, but certainly a lot more potential out there. And what are they going to do to deal with this Templar as a keeper of the light? Man, we are going old school here.
Yeah, and this is a really good laning supplement. At the same time, a good team fight presence. Maybe, and also for the Brewmaster, it's a lot of mana supplement to go with.
Okay.
So early game fights and Blinding Light and Will-O-Wisp both really effective against Temple Assassin until she gets BKB. Also kind of forces her BKB because Temple Assassin is kind of a hero that absolutely requires 2 core items before she can go BKB.
Yeah. It's going to take some time to come online, and especially when you look at the Swedish roster. I mean, that is going to be very powerful very early, especially when it comes to contesting things like those outposts on the side.
So really ensures a good game until 25-minute mark, or just whenever the TA gets, whenever TA gets her BKB. But Abaddon comes in, more of a defensive pick right there. But it seems like an offlane Abaddon. So in a similar vein with the Omni Knight last game, it's a lot of heals, a lot of saves. But on the front line, actively, dealing out damage to the enemies, trying to get that Avernus proc, Curse of Avernus, silencing the enemies.
10 seconds remaining.
Final bans to come through here before our final picks, and I mean, it's the last ban phase. What are you going to take out? Weaver, okay. I'm not sure I would have really put Weaver as the last pick there for Philippines. I don't think they've shown the potential to do that at all this tournament, but I guess you just want to solidify, make sure that, like you said, nothing crazy gets out there.
Yeah, just none of the slippery heroes that they have to waste their time against.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, we saw what Philippines did when Lumic was trying to split push all last game on Puck. So, I mean, maybe the same potential.
I'd say Weaver would have been okay to let through. A bit too squishy, but I think Sweden is really giving us the message that they're really straightforward this game. They want to end the game clean and fast. And Weaver, heroes like Weaver is,
I mean, eventually Germinate just starts to really pop off. So, yeah, maybe better safe than sorry. So they'll take that out. Now the final ban for the Philippines. What do they have to worry about? I mean, always take away. I mean, it's not going to be like Grimstroke. It's not going to be. I'm trying to figure out what's left.
Naga Siren.
Okay,
when in doubt.
I guess that does make a lot of sense. I mean, we've seen Naga ban like every single game, so might as well make sure that we don't see it this one.
For once, I think Dragon Knight might be a good pick as well. They can just group up, push when they're ready. Dragon Knight's item timings align pretty well with Gyrocopter and Brewmaster as well.
10 seconds
And
remaining.
more of a, I think they need another frontliner that can also deal damage to the
5
towers,
seconds
while
remaining.
Brewmaster is using his ultimate and Gyrocopter DPSing. Something to hold the enemy and, you know, attract attention.
I was gonna say you've got CC in the form of either Chen creeps or Lina locking them down, but a lot of that can be a little bit situational. You know, it's nice to have something that can get in there and Tiny at the end. Okay, well that's gonna give it to you.
The carry Tiny without IO loses a lot of global mobility or the increased attack speed, but still Tiny is Tiny. He's strong and looks like it's going to be a carry Tiny, so give it time and we'll see that monster that we saw a couple games ago.
Yeah, that was actually quite scary. Necrophos.
More of a teamfight presence, less of a... I mean, I would like to see more building damage in a lineup like this, but Necrophos is also a very strong pick.
Gyro's got some building damage in there, but you're right. I know what you mean. The ability to just power down those towers. I mean, that was something that really kind of surprised me, is that even as Philippines was kind of falling behind in game 1, they were still able to get out there and take, I think they took every outer tower still within the first like 15 minutes. So
yep, they did. They were able to take their objectives successfully. And beyond that, Team Philippines, they only lost on the verge of early snowballing, is what I would say. So I think Team Sweden is trying not to give them any inch this time.
Okay, I don't blame them. I think they gave them a little bit too much breathing room in that first game, because especially even after they got such a huge lead by like 20-25 minute mark, they still couldn't finish the game. And I imagine the frustration of just completely dominating your opponent and you still can't close it out. And you're like, well, this is just really annoying. So let's get into game number 2 and see if Philippines can bring it back, or if this powerful Swedish all-star stack are going to close this out in 2 games and head on to the grand finals.
I'm really curious on how Cheshi will play this Necrophos out. Really can take the lane half enough against Temporal Assassin, but at the same time really effective against Abaddon and Tiny. Especially Tiny, since he gains so much HP, so much armor, but still quite susceptible to the magic damage. So just staying alive would be a great detriment to their HP for the Necrophos.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of staying alive, game number 1 started with a level 1 S4 kill on that Doom. So as long as they don't die at level 1, it'll be a better start for Philippines for sure.
Yeah, a bit more careful movement from the Team Philippines, while Team Sweden just casually walks in between 2 heroes and walks out, and maybe gonna get whacked by Tiny, but Skipper of the Light is going places.
It's a tour. Just making sure. I mean, there's nothing really super crazy to worry about. Obviously, if you get surrounded, but I mean, at this point, everybody's pretty sure what's going on. Takes the bounty rune, and I believe that's 1, 2,
That's 3 towards the side of the Sweden.
So 3 for Sweden, 1 for Masaram there. I'm never sure if I'm supposed to say Masaram or Mushroom, but it's close enough.
Close enough. Cheshi gets a bit better body block.
Ooh, that's a really good one. Got the first 2 creeps on high ground.
Yep, might be a bit too deep as the creeps are taking the hit from the tower. But, uses the skill to secure the last hit.
S4 is a little bit behind enemy lines here. Getting right-clicked. I mean, it's Brewmaster, so to some extent you're always pretty safe, but he's going to have to head back to his turret and heal back up.
It's the Chan. And then, taking the early nuke to drive the Tiny out of the lane. Usually the popular choice was Blinding Light, but always a good way to use your Q. Secure the range creep. A bit close there to deny. Cheshi getting the good last hits, and now that he can regen out of the lane. Mid lane would be, well, it seems pretty even. Looks like it's going to be even for now. And nothing's really happening on the Abaddon side as well. It's just Gyrocopter and Crystal Maiden farming against Abaddon Lina. I mean, Lina might be able to make something happen, but that's about it.
Well, we also have to keep an eye on just like the overall health of these lanes. I mean, it's Kimmo trying to be as annoying as possible, but especially against all the sustain that S4 has, it's going to be kind of hard to make sure to shut him down or keep him out of your jungle anyway. So, Zibby, excuse me? Hello?
Just casually pulls, but gotta watch out for the Storm Lightning Caller.
Yeah, that would have been a little bit close depending on that cooldown.
Yeah, I mean, Storm Caller has been nerfed a bit in terms of the total mana and all.
Okay.
But still, it's an annoying spell to take, especially at this early of the game.
Oh, Stormcaller about to go down. Oh, gonna take it out.
I tried to get that last lightning, chain lightning in, but you know, took him out.
Oh well. I mean, so he's helping him out, giving him a little bit of extra farm.
Really good side blade spillage from Templar Session. Double stun.
Ooh, okay. Fancy there. Oh, still look at these right clicks coming out. EGM is gonna have to head way back by this. Oh, are we going for a dive? I think not. I'm pruned. Okay, so he's gonna be out of there. Stun does connect.
Coming up.
Follow up. Masram.
But there's the shield coming right up.
Yavos coming through. I mean, in the end, I don't think we're going to see either player. I mean, these players are obviously good enough to avoid kind of silly mistakes like that, but keep an eye on how game one started, right?
Yep.
Nico, quite a bit back behind the turret. I love the ebb and flow of this mid lane, and obviously it's going to change over the course as these refraction charges start to stack up. It gets more and more difficult.
Feed in off lane. Oh. Allowing that deny on the range creep to happen, a bit odd. But yeah, against Tiny, who has a lot of damage, it's a bit inevitable that you lose the last hit. Oh,
okay.
Oh, wow, that was a good splash.
Yeah, that was disgusting. I mean, just when you think you're safe, the angle on that split is just not what you expect. Another great body block here. At least Chessie's gonna. Oh my God, he's almost stopping them cold in their trap. Paolo's pretty low, but at least Chen's there for help.
You have to burn more consumables. 110 gold.
Oh, wait, what?
But from the top lane, Gyrocopter and Crystal Maiden takes the kill. S4 going towards Palace. Illuminate, clipping him, but not for a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, stick charges will come through to keep Palace alive, and I think that was always going to happen. Just forcing that out, obviously good to remove as many consumable opportunities as possible. Illuminate. Okay, we get it.
Cheshi is trying to kind of recover from the lane. I mean, he's actually ahead in terms of the last hits, but I imagine he spent a bit more gold on the healing items.
Probably, and I mean, the consumables being ferried forward or just to keep him in the lane, essentially. Now, looking bottom, Zibby very, very low, gets right-click down there. Chen for a comeback kill here for Philippines. Looking down S4, but Palace not able to get in range. Palace not able to get in range. Palace not able to get it. Oh my God.
I mean, you can still throw the tree, but it wasn't enough damage. But drove both the offlaner and the support away enough to gain that bounty gold advantage. Gyrocopter took one. Tiny and Chen. And I think it was also Team Philippines took it. So the gold is about even.
I mean, hey, this is a much more even start than we saw from our first game in the series. And at least overall, I mean, we were talking during the draft phase about the importance of coming online early and side workshops. But what do you think is happening here? Or is Philippines online to really have that successful mid-game fight?
I think Philippines can snowball off of this if they play carefully. I mean, Temple of Session still have to farm, so the snowball itself is gonna start until like 15 minutes mark or 20 minutes mark. But they have enough to outlast them the 10-minute outpost fight at least 1-1. But they gotta be careful.
Palace, he's in a little bit of trouble here. Trying to turn it back around. That Avalanche really kick it in, but he goes down too quickly. Kimmo unable to find the right clicks to finish off that kill. Meanwhile, top lane stun missing as they dive EGM. Right clicks coming through. Will he be able to take him out? Last hit.
And the tower takes out the Lina. But it's 2 for 1. Pretty good. One support for one support and a carry. good exchange on the side of the Philippines, and Abaddon getting good EXP.
Yeah, I mean, the EXP is coming through there, so I think that's kind of the real victory of all of that. The other thing is going to be net worth to consider, and Nico has not been shut down at all. He's really actually dishing out the damage to Chessie. They split. Oh my god.
It hurts. One of the reasons why I think Team Philippines opted to use Vina against Odin is that at least you can try to dodge those skills. Side blade is really annoying.
Radiant's top tower.
Boulders are coming in.
Yeah, there's the toss
Blinding
right down on
light.
the Zibby.
It's good use of blinding light. It saves his life. The kill score is 3-3, but the net worth is... It might get worse. Might go into 2k difference pretty soon. But for now, they're hanging on. S4 is doing pretty well, so I imagine S4, once he gets like a dagger or just finds the first roaming opportunity with leads to any inevitable team fight, he's just saving up and farming up until the 10-minute mark, I think.
Yeah, I think we are kind of waiting to see what happens there. 3-3 is not like your early snowball score by any means. But I will say that I don't think we've seen any team really shut down another member, although Masaram is super dead.
Yep, here comes the side, and she's gone.
For a little bit longer now. So, let's see, what is that? Ooh, 30 seconds. That's definitely going to hurt. We are coming up on that 10-minute mark, so something both teams are really keeping in mind, the position they're in when that time arrives. Scythe really going to disjoint Lena's presence out on the map for sure.
Kimo keeps farming the enemy jungle, while Palace is a bit pushed back, but still, tiny is tiny. What I'm worried about is how effective, like, the way the farm is going for the Brewmaster, I'm kind of afraid for the Team Philippines that how well their team fight is going to be against this pretty well farmed Brewmaster.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to see the early lanes, which have gone pretty evenly up until now, but as soon as Sweden get together, there's an immediate implosion of that Lena mid, and then...
has been killed.
Oh, nice snipe there.
That's courier down for the carry. A bit of a misfortune right there.
Okay, well,
Mushroom and Templar Session takes out Chessie.
one way to return the favor, I guess. Mushroom's not even 6. I guess I would have expected that if there was a Luna involved, but Nico is actually just monstrous. So, gonna team up with a Shen and push forward through that Illuminate. I mean, just gonna try to spread the crease, but actually going for the dive there is gonna be very low. Trees destroyed.
Blinding light into Will-O-Wisp. Second tick.
Well, Nico just will not stop, and now
blinding light.
He's got a little bit too far in there, trying for the damage, but he will go down too deep.
This is what a Keeper of Light can do. And using the blinding light and then Will-O-Wisp, then Chakra Magic to reduce his cooldown, and then another blinding light completely puts Templar Assassin on the lockdown. She couldn't do anything during that fight.
Let's see who gets the caps on the side. Outpost. Wow, double control. That's actually really impressive. Kimmo is able to get the one on the bottom.
That was interesting. Sweden maybe spent a bit too much on the mid lane fight. Right after 10-minute mark, they're punishing the pushers.
Palace in a lot of trouble. Does get that above his shield, but not enough. He's going to go down there, and even Crystal Maiden coming in for a little bit of aesthetic help. He is definitely dead.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are
So Team Sweden definitely took an upper hand right there. I mean, both 10-minute outposts went towards Team Philippines anyways, but still, Sweden winning in kills, and kills means map control.
Nico, oh my god,
is there
one,
blinding
two,
light?
three,
There is
what?
no blinding light.
Oh my god. Okay, well,
Radiant's
you're
top
not
tower
safe
has
anywhere. Nico is the monster under your bed. He's coming for you. Damn, what a sick dive.
He just casually walked. It wasn't even a dive. He just walked in.
Yeah, I was
Whacked
gonna
him 3 times.
Dire's bottom tower
He
is
starts to
under
take that
attack.
turret damage, and I'm just like, well, we going for this? And yes, he was. He does have to actually get out alive,
Oh
though,
yeah,
to
the
secure-
hardest
Has
part.
fallen.
Yeah, that is definitely a difficulty. I thought he was going to go for the courier there for a second, but nope.
They flew it up on the trees pretty well.
Dire's middle
And
tower
he just
is under
walks
attack.
out just as he walked in.
Dire's
What a
structures
god.
are fortified.
Damn. I mean, certainly not out of the woods just yet. You saw what happens when Sweden groups up, and now he's actually going back in for it again. Blinding Light.
That's something he really can't deal with.
Will-O-Wisp. Nico, hello? Where you at? Mel doesn't last forever, my friend.
I mean, they have enough AoE to just burn Nico down. S4 just waiting for more mana. And that's another shield, but shield is taken down. Refraction's gone. Nico is gone.
There wasn't a lot of hope there.
On the bright side, he burnt a lot of time for the Swedish
You're really
players.
looking for the best in life. We got permanent optimist Aqua over there.
Well, I mean, if you're playing Dota, you gotta be an optimist.
You got the PMA going on.
Otherwise, you just die of. Never mind. But anyways, broom handle dropping for both Tiny and the gyrocopter. A bit more of a use to the Tiny, but they can just hand it to the brewmaster.
Always trade that between your teams. Can't sell it, but still trying to get used to that because eventually you see these piles of visual items everywhere.
Nicely used, but athletic shield.
You going for this?
Esports courier going down.
Dire's top tower.
And making sure that deny doesn't come through.
That was a pretty good deny attempt, but Abaddon pushed him up. So,
alright, Palace is out of there.
A bit of a skirmish.
Blink coming in for TA, finally completed. Pushing through these towers. That's going to be one and maybe a second one taken out here.
Blinding Light again. Maybe they're going to try to deny the towers this time.
I mean, they did force the glyph. It's a nice save.
Dire's courier.
And then the... What? Wait, how does Gyrocopter's courier die on this side? Maybe it was on the secret shop.
I mean, I guess I didn't have much on it, but yeah, you're right. That was somewhat confusing.
And Keeper of the Light gets Laguna Bladed, but right before that, puts down Will-O-Wisp and going on
gyro
the
damage.
Templar Assassin.
Jeez.
Not bad.
1-for-1 definitely in Sweden's favor. They're going to find Masaram here, and despite his momentary survivability, he is not going to last much longer. You're going forward. Look at this tiny damage. Oh my god.
A good damage, but kind of stuff.
Charlie,
middle of everything. Charlie, one more hit.
And boom goes the dynamite. Now turning back on to Chessie and Essie. Looks like Nemo or Chemo's gonna run back away. Yeah, Blinding Light gonna help him out there. Avalanche for the mini stuns coming back through. Right clicks onto S4. He will go down. Chessie, not in the best spot. Toss and he is.
Shroud, Blinding Light. Comes the Shroud. Heal, Aquatic Shield. And Crystal Maiden coming in, but wasn't enough to save him.
I mean, I don't think EGM's really supposed to be there, though.
They're just rushing in one hero after the other to save what's remaining at the team fight, but Team Sweden just believes another Crystal Maiden.
I mean, I think you're starting to see that, like, when it comes to playing like chaotic Dota, like Philippines definitely has the ability to stick together and kind of weather the storm. Sweden, I felt like they were kind of running in one by one at one point.
Yeah, now that Chemo has Mechanism and Abaddon has really good net worth as well, Team Philippines can definitely roll through the fight.
Oh no, Zibby. Oh my god, the blink for the 2-shot.
It only takes 2 shots. So Team Sweden kind of on the back foot now, 5k deficit, but I mean they do have the team fight potential with the Brewmaster still, but a lot of resource used on Templar Assassin meant that the rest of the team fight wasn't as strong, and tower wasn't denied. They just take the tier 1 tower mid, just like that, one hit. Team Philippines, looking pretty good this game.
Yeah, I will say this is a much better spot to be in, and maybe this is part of the secret sauce that they used to defeat Sweden the first time during the Swiss phase. Now on to Nico, Refraction Charges helping him stand up against S4. You coming through. GM there for the support.
Also, I noticed that a lot of teams prefer Templar Assassin and thus win with it a lot.
It does seem to be kind of a staple of this tournament, especially because these specific 4 teams are going to be in the finals and semifinals. It does appear as if that's going to be something we'll see more of. I really do hope we see one of these champions or heroes that have been banned the entire time make it through. We already got a chance to see what Tiny Wisp looks like, or Tiny IO looks like, so probably not going to have that happen again.
I mean, we've seen almost everything. We've seen Venom in the first round. We've seen the Viper. But anyways, Team Philippines 7K ahead with all the outer tier 1 towers taken, and Abaddon just pushing everything with his bare presence, I guess.
That's one way to put it, yeah. By being there, he's in a good spot. S4 dropped early. Mazaram, though, healing through everything. He's actually going to run away, but I mean, he's pretty inevitably dead there. Turns around for a last-second stun, but gets taken out nonetheless. Everybody else kind of heading for the hills there.
I mean, he got enough time for Tiny to push that tier 2 top. I think that was enough of a sacrifice, given that it was just the support. Aquatic shield used. Right after that comes the frostbite.
Yeah, I mean, forcing out ult is like okay, but you definitely a little bit too far out there. Palos off of a fresh TP, just gonna go in for the right clicks. Blinding Light is actually enough to come in for the save. Zibby,
nice. Still, Team Philippines still much ahead. So Sweden needs to kind of solidify or figure out their win condition at the moment. They really invested a lot in the team fight, but even then, the team fight isn't really going to their advantage, which means that they need a bit more farm, maybe a couple more core items on the gyrocopter.
Yeah, I mean we've seen gyrocopter come in at least once for a bunch of surprising damage, but it's not something that's going to be winning them these team fights, and especially since we've kind of done away with the early game, we're solidly stuck here right before a lot of carries get their really big items. Like we said, like TA still hasn't really come online because there's no BA or BKB, so still waiting for. Doesn't have BKB yet. No,
not yet.
Okay,
not yet.
anyway.
It had the Blink Dagger. Not sure if it has a Desolator yet, but once she has all that items, that's when the new struggle begins. Because right now you can just put her under the Will-O-Wisp and then just have another hero deal more damage to it, and she dies pretty easily for now, given the Dire's toolkit. But once she gets some farm, once she gets BKB, she'll be unstoppable for the 10 seconds. Can they minimize the damage, or can they just not let her, refrain her from going that much gold?
I mean, Keeper's doing a remarkable job controlling TA for now, like you said.
For now, yes.
There's that for now asterisk up there. Looks like the game is a bit ready to get back into, so let's go ahead and jump right back in. But those are some good questions to ask ourselves. Like, wait a second, what happens when these carries start to come online? When Gyrocopter gets his next big core, or that BKB comes in for TA?
I mean, Gyro's still a bit underfarmed, but really underfarmed here will be Brewmaster, who is under 10's net worth.
That happened. S4, way down there.
I mean, it's a difficult pick to use, but that's Courier down. Nico has Blink Dagger, no Desolator yet. Just blinks out.
But still, you're starting to see how fragile S4 is. I mean, even on Brew, he's still taking like half his health and a couple autos there. Back, too far forward. Lina doing a great job. I feel like fulfilling the exact same position that Philippines has really used or most effectively on, just wave clearing, shoving it out, and actually pretty important for CC, given that their lineup's pretty light on that.
Definitely, Cheshi getting pummeled, but has the creeps. But meanwhile, Charlie goes down. This is not what they imagined. Not what they imagined. Like, they don't have tier 2 top. Gyro's farming there and just get dove and dies.
Well, especially because, I mean, Gyro's like really key to the way this whole Swedish lineup's supposed to work. I mean, he's the guy. So good luck now that he's just getting taken out right and left. Not really a whole lot to deal with that Tiny now.
Yep. That Tiny.
This.
I mean, Tiny isn't the first. Tiny is the most urgent problem, right? It's the first priority problem, but it's not something you have to solve right away. You have Templar Session, you have Abaddon, you have Lina, who's 6.1k somehow.
Wow.
Everybody's so farmed on the Philippines side.
Even the supports are farmed. Like, okay, well. I guess the gold comes out of magical plays. Let's see if the call down can make it happen. No, it's going to catch a couple of jungle creeps, but it's not enough. grab that Aegis or the Roche kill. That is absolutely fantastic. He's going to go on to Nico, and now let's see what he can deal in the middle of the fight. Egypt very low, but he's going to get out to the back. Will-O-Wisp actually a huge save. Palace pushed back, tossing you in. Egypt gets bopped out of existence. His memory erased from the earth, turning it back, right back around onto you. That side coming through to help out with that.
So pretty good exchange, but buybacks coming from both sides. Keeper of the Light came in.
Coming back.
No ultimate though. Abaddon coming in again, but also no ultimate. But Brewmaster ultimate has just about ended, and Laguna Blade to the face to finish him as well.
That'll do it for sure. Wow. I mean, when you see team fights go like that, especially when you had that unfortunate Gyro death up top to Tiny, things are just not really going Sweden's way. It's not really about the kills, it's more like net worth, overall objectives, everything coming in for the Philippines.
And their snowballing requirements has finally been met, and they're hitting the tower now with a Desolator Templar Fashion and Tiny. They're trying to melt their costs.
Yeah, Nico. I mean, you got the Necro Aura, that's going to help out a little bit, but who is going to keep this Gyro alive? And despite everything, just stunned and forced out of the fight immediately. Now, Palace is down below half health, but there's just nothing left to deal damage to him.
Everybody's still alive on the left side. Team Sweden is trying to make a stand, but there's not enough damage, not enough HP, not enough gold or items. Nico, one more hit.
Oh, the toss. He wants it, he gets it with a missed coil.
Abaddon, it's like, okay, you're gonna die, but I'm gonna throw you, and you're gonna get the kill. And then he forces out the buyback from the Necrophos. So mission accomplished.
I mean, that's when you drop that worth in chat, man. It's absolutely the style points coming in. I mean, at the end of the day, Philippines is really starting to look scary in a lot of like really permanent ways. Not only is their net worth, XP, all of that in their favor, but it's just the inevitability. It's like their cores now have the items. Their supports even have items. Like this, I don't know how they got that gold on the characters. That's like 7.5K net worth Lina.
Yeah, and the deficit, not just the gold, but EXP, is leading to this team fight differences. Sweden is trying to group up now, but Necrophos right now on the back foot, not providing much, but Blink Dagger.
Call down, coming down on top. There's the Primal Split, and now on top of everybody. This is just not going Philippines' way. Beautiful engage there. S4 starting the fight. We're looking to finish it. 1, 2, 3 dead. Now 4 as Lina falls.
Immediate blink out using the refraction. Since the damage taken and blocked by the refraction does not disable your dagger anymore. Well, I mean, it changed a long time ago, but it will coming in, but turning the side to the right as Keeper of the Light is blown up.
Yeah, light not being kept there. The biggest thing for Philippines is that if they're the ones that start the fight, they crush it. But it turns out if they get engaged by S4, even though he's way down there in net worth, Sweden's struggling to win these fights, it still looks pretty good.
It also shows that Sweden is quite cooldown dependent. They can win if Brewmaster has, the ultimate, but if not, good luck, I guess. So Team Sweden has to plan their whole movement around that. But Team Philippines, they just gotta pummel their opponent. They have almost like no downtime in their abilities and all.
Yeah, I mean, it's tiny. It's TA. Like,
just gotta go.
gotta go fast too. Here comes Nico blinking forward. There's nobody there for him to blink onto, but it's about the objectives. It's not even about killing heroes at this point.
Team Sweden losing their last tier 2, but at the same time, they don't have any shrines left since the tier 3 mid went down. Cheshi taking top, about 30 seconds left to the whole outpost. EXP time, so Tiny walking in. It's going to be really hard.
The blink. Can he stop the TP? Avalanche coming through. I mean, Chessie's going to be hard to take down, but if there's anybody that can do it, it's Tiny.
Tiny is still following Cheshi around. They don't really care about the outpost. They want to kill him out. That's a clumsy net into the fail toss.
Okay, hello.
Kind of juked out.
I mean, eventually this will be a terrible idea. Jumping forward. Hello? Please respond.
overstayed his welcome is the phrase.
I mean, look, he was blinking in, okay? Like, there's a lot of ways to blink there.
I would have preferred it if they just took the outpost and...
Well, he gets scythed too, so it's 90-second cooldown on him being in the game. So, also, you, hello? I don't know if that's
Abaddon.
Yes, hello?
We know Abaddon is tanky, but, you know, there's a limit to one's tankiness.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool ult you got there. Wow, isn't that nice? Wow, robotic shield, that's pretty cool, right? Not that cool.
This mist thing is really crazy.
How does that work?
Oh,
What does it mean?
We were going to ask him, but he died.
Yeah, no, you cannot tell us anymore. I mean, thankfully it's not another scythe kill, but they're both going to be coming back online at the same time. I love how Pink's careful. It's just like, yep, you probably watch where you walk. It's, you can't go into the tall grass without a Pokeball. Okay?
Yes.
It's one of the cardinal rules of gaming.
It's banned by the game.
That's true.
Cheshi kind of a bit too forward, but Nico isn't really interested.
Well,
Given
also
that
they jump on and everybody else dies.
Will-O-Wisp.
Blinding light, Gimmo getting
for
locked
it.
down,
Illuminate first.
call down on top of it. Oh, S4 though gets Laguna bladed.
Oh,
From downtown, and now look at Nico go. Nico, he's on to Chessie. There's the net, and boom goes the Dynamite.
can he pull out the Shroud? Yes, he can.
Damn. Okay.
I think
You off the high ground.
Team Sweden could have...
Oh, Nico is on that.
Oh my, that was a bit too close. I think Team Sweden could have used their ultimates a bit too early. They saved them for too long. Should have just Will-O-Wisp right away and initiate the fight that way, so that because S4 was a bit low on the HP, he needed a bit of a breathing room to cast his ultimate safely, but he got Laguna Blade, bursted down. Mushroom actually making good space again.
Laguna was absolutely huge towards the start of that fight. Still, not a dominant win there. The Philippines is starting to kind of realize, wait a second, when it doesn't go our way, sometimes. Well, I guess that was a fight that happened immediately after both Tiny and Abaddon kind of walked in and died. So as long as that doesn't happen, probably next time it's not going to quite look the same way.
Yes, Team Philippines is feeling the same feeling Team Sweden felt like the first game.
It's a little closer than that.
Let's not give them that inch. Just focus on getting keeping yourself organized and not giving any ganking opportunities, and work on the objectives. Stun.
Yeah. Oh, blink in 1, 2, 3. Shroud. Okay.
What a good save. Comes in
until one day, all that changed.
Forced Palace.
Which was a good map. Beecham actually in a rough spot there. 1, 2, 3.
They tried so hard, but couldn't save Cheshi in the end.
Zivik gets out, but this is starting to look a little bit rough.
But S4 is doing what Puck did the last game, cutting the creeps, getting all the attention, but will they make it out though? Clumsy net coming in.
Survey says no.
Oh, just pops the ultimate, buy more time.
One way to do it. I mean, how much do they want to kill this guy? Like, they have to know they're only going to get 2.
He should be able to blink out. He's actually kind of resigning to his fate, or blink now. Good. Oh, he could have blinked out.
Well, that's going to do it. So 50 seconds left. No buyback there for S4.
But
Charlie does control that outpost.
But then S4 bought time for Cheshi, who didn't have buyback. If S4 did not, if he didn't do what he did, they would have just pushed to the barracks when the Cheshi was still 50, 60 seconds away from respawning. So pretty good decision. S4 can still buy back as well. Illuminate coming in. Wave clear. Along with the Transformated. There's also Glyph.
Okay, so they're just going to use the Glyph back. Buying a few times. Only 10 seconds left until S4 is back. Oh, going deep in that. Nico, I mean, he's not immortal. He's pretty close.
Palos coming in now. That's damage.
Yes, hello? Wow, Palos is absolutely the engaged player before. They get 1 Rax, and now they're looking for S4.
Ultimate.
He's just coming back alive. Look at that evade with the Laguna Blade. Can't evade that.
He already expanded his ultimate, so it shouldn't have been that aggressive, but who else will take that place?
Yeah?
If it's not for Brewmaster. Just casually through Abaddon, the enemies, and dies. It was Chen, not Abaddon.
I mean, even still, that's probably not where you want to be throwing your teammates.
And Team Philippines, they have a pretty good hold on the game now.
I would say so. And it's not just that they are winning fights, it's that they're converting those fights into objectives, taking out all these racks. You want to make something happen here. They do lock down Ew, but old Abaddon will be okay.
Yep, just throw Abaddon. Soak up some spells while everyone else runs away. Lina TPs out safely, and the only one that's remaining on the top is Nico, but you know, you can't really kill him.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
They sure are, aren't they? It's a rough day to be the Dire. For Sweden, they looked pretty dominant, especially at this phase of the game in Game 1. 30, 40 minutes, they were all about it, but Philippines found a way to hang on then. Now can Sweden return the favor, like you said, and kind of do exactly what Philippines did to them? Hang on. Is there hope in the future for Sweden if they can make it to that 40, 50-minute mark?
They need some more levels on the S4, so the Brewmaster can liberally use his ultimate, and then Keeper of the Light also needs levels. Those two teamfight ultimates are very critical to Sweden.
Okay.
Kind of evening out the game or just losing and going to Game 3. But I don't think Team Philippines is gonna give them the time or the luxury. Coming right away, Abaddon on the front lines. Mishiram using the clumsy net, it's the stun. Gyrocopter can't do anything.
Immediately doing it there, but I mean Charlie's still going off in that back line, trying to deal damage. He can't take out Messerem. Look at you, the consummate support carry, everything you want it to be. EGM in back is gonna get taken out immediately. Messerem dominating, and now on to Charlie. He's trying to run away in the back. The Pandas get in on the front, but I mean, S4 is just desperately trying to exit this fight while still alive.
They deleted Cheshire.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea's out of there. Messerem might have gone a little bit too far here. She is one to be.
Can they even kill Lina?
When you can't kill Lina, that's how you know you're in a rough spot. But they do finally take it
well,
down.
She buys it immediately. Anyway, Abaddon blinking forward.
Look at Nico. 1, 2, 3. Taking them out. Now chasing Sweden back into their own base, forcing out all these buybacks.
Coming in.
Right, Ejim gets completely tossed.
And his buyback has already been used. So no more buyback for the Crystal Maidens. No more buyback for anybody on the Team Sweden side.
Yeah, no clip either. So there's another Laguna Blade. How long is this fight going to last? The last hit from Nico going godlike there on the gyro kill. No buyback there either. And GG is starting to come out as the Philippines return the favor and take game number 2 to take out Sweden and take us into a third and final semi-final game.
So is it the Templar Assassin?
Is that the secret sauce? I think it might just be. It's certainly an iconic hero in a lot of our games, almost all of them so far.
Yeah, Richiner like countered in the lane one side of the Viper, but other than that, she farms well, does DPS well. I mean, really feeling the vibe of this meta.
Yeah. We'll have to see if that continues as we take a quick break, and when we come back, the exciting conclusion of our semifinals of this DOTA tournament. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.